Hello everyone, happy Saturday and I hope you're well. I also hope you're ready for the interview with my next guest. I had such a blast recording this interview. She was honestly one of the nicest people. Please take a listen to my interview with the lovely Laura Baldwin.
Yeah. Are you okay for me to just shoot some questions out at you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Fire away. Yeah, go for it.
So the first question is how I always start, but how did it all begin for you? Where did your love of theatre come from?
So, it started very young. I was 3 when I won my first Olivier, and yeah. So my mum took me to dance school. I went to Stuart Stage School in Yorkshire, and I just very quickly was obsessed about it, and I just found such a love from it there. We would do, Joseph. We would do that, and his Technical Dreamcoat, and we would be in the choir. And I just remember being in love and just knew that was what I wanted to do. I remember like seeing them as these adults, and they were performers and putting on this show and being paid to. I just knew that it was where I wanted to go. And my mum would take me to go see loads of shows, and I was always putting on shows for my family, like making them sit down and be like, I've written a song, classic. And it just kind of very quickly escalated, I think. And because I went to college at 16, it was kind of I just was desperate to go, and I didn't want to wait any longer. But it was kind of just, my parents were like, let's just see if you get in, and then if you do, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And because I did, and I got a Dada, so it just I just kind of had no option. My parents were like, you don't know whether you'll get this again, so go. And then trained for the 3 years, and then just kind of went out into this nuts industry. So but I think I've always known that it was what I was going to do. There was never a doubt in my mind or a question of what else I would do. I just was so sure on it,
If you could describe your career so far in 3 words, what would they be? This is a hard one.
Absolutely bloody crazy. My career has been like this. It's been an absolute nightmare, but it's been amazing. I feel like it's just kind of gone up and down so much. I've been very lucky. And I'm so grateful for the things that I've done. And if I was to be like, actually, I'm going to stop and do something else now, I'd be so happy with what I'd done. I'd be like, okay, I did what I set out to do. It was my dream, and I've done it. It definitely was quite turbulent at the start, just because classic, I got an agent and I got a job very quickly, which was great, and that was a Christmas job, and it was Panto, and it was amazing, and then it was over in a month, and then I didn't work for a whole year, and that was tough. And I didn't feel like I was getting any auditions, didn't feel like I was getting seen for stuff. And I worked at Block, that dance shop.
Oh, yeah.
I worked there, and people would just come in and be like, I need some jazz shoes because I've got an audition for Mamma Mia. And I'd be like, Mamma Mia? It was auditioning, I didn't even know. And I just felt very like on the outside.
Right.
And I think it was quite a slow build. It's only been probably in the last 2-3 years that I felt like it's kind of started rolling a bit for me, and I've been a bit more like financially stable. Because the contracts have just been longer, and it's the breaks between jobs have been a lot shorter. So It
No, it's so tough. It is so tough.
really is. It really, really is. And I definitely at the start was like, I'm living in London, struggling to pay my rent. I can't afford to do anything. I'm not getting seen for stuff. And should I be going to classes? And also, I think finding where you sit within the industry is hard. I never imagined that I would do the jobs that I've done, and I also didn't even when I graduated, I didn't even know they existed. It was like, I can't remember what was in town at the time. I think it was like Wicked, We Will Rock You, Legally Blonde, you know, Les Mis, all the classics, and I didn't quite know where I fit within those. And because I went to Bird, I was classed as a dancer, and dancing was never my strong point.
It's
No.
not. No.
No, I move. I've got a little bit of groove, but it's not technically the best. And that's not anything to do with Bird's training. They did everything they could to help me.
Yeah.
I just didn't know quite what I was castable as. And I wasn't a strong enough dancer for some of the ensemble stuff, but didn't look old enough for roles, but also didn't have the maturity or the experience to play roles. But I knew that was where I wanted to go. So it was it's really hard to find like your path, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
It's it's difficult. And I had no idea that I would play anyone like Dawn or Janie. I didn't ever see myself as being able to do comedy. And when I graduated, I had like long blonde hair, and I just never thought I would be seen as someone who could be silly and awkward. But I genuinely feel like the moment I accepted that that's actually just who I am in general, like I feel like then when you go into auditions like that, as you are as a human, then you find it easier to see what you're castable as.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it just comes with like just maturity and like I guess when I first came out, I was like, I know that I could sing that, and why am I not being seen for it? And I just never looked at myself and was like, actually, you look like a child, so maybe that's why, because those people on stage look like women and you do not, you know. But I just didn't see it. I just didn't. It took me a while to realize, like, I fit. But I do think that is key, and as soon as you see where you can go, then when there's a role that comes up, I'm like, I'll say to my agent Gina, I mean, she already knows I never have to be like Gina, but I know what roles I'm now right for, you know, and I'm like, oh, I couldn't do that. I could, maybe, you know, it makes it easier for you to know where your work lies.
Definitely. And has there been a standout moment or a role for you so far that you've just gone, that was epic?
You know, I feel like I've been asked that question quite a few times actually, and I'm just never able to answer it, because I feel like when it was even like when I got Big Fish and I got to do play Story Sandra in that, and just the musicals that I then went on to do, I'd never even heard of at that time. And as soon as I knew Big Fish was a thing, I then fell in love with it instantly and was like, oh my God, this is my dream role. Oh my God, this is amazing. Then when I played it, it felt like a dream, and the cast was incredible, and I loved the show. Maybe that one was the standout, who knows? But I felt so honoured to be a part of it. Yeah. And I think that I found out whilst I was doing that I got Eugenius. And that was also, I didn't hear about that until I was auditioning for it. And then that became another dream role in itself. And I feel like that changed my career a heck of a lot, because then I feel like it put me on the map. So then when I went in for Dawn in Waitress, people had been able to see me in something, and you know, and watch me do something totally different, and I couldn't tell you what my standout role is. I feel like they all have their
Their own place.
yeah, their own place, yeah, in my life, and they've all been amazing for different reasons, you know.
If you were able to duet with anyone from any genre of music, someone that's maybe not with us anymore, or someone current, who would it be and why?
Duet with someone. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's a really. This is one where like I'm gonna end this and be like, actually, Jen, can I say this? Can we just go back and record that? Oh, do you know what? I really don't know. Who would I duet with? Oh, maybe Freddie Mercury. That would have been incredible. I love him. I thought he was just an absolute legend, and he would be
a genius.
Just a genius. Yeah, even to have met him, I feel like would have been amazing. And I'm a lover of meatloaf as well.
Oh my gosh,
like, can I be like, your girl? Do you know what I mean? Like, can I just be Cher for a second? And like, yeah.
My mum to see Bat Out of Hell. It was just after I finished uni. I'd seen it a couple of times, and I took my mum. My mum loved. Oh my god, I grew up with that music because.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
And mum had seen Meatloaf live before, and she just loves it. And she was like, I'm not sure I'm gonna like this as a musical, Jen. You know. And I was like, trust me, Ma, you will love it. It's brilliant. Yeah. And he had to be at the theatre when they were performing it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, of course he was in a box, and like we were in the store, so you're looking up, and I was going, Mum, it's definitely him, it's definitely. And like all these people start chanting, and he's very cool, like he was like, hello, you know. And I was just like, what is happening? Like we're in this room.
That's amazing. My parents would be so jealous. They'd be like, he wasn't there when we came to see it, because I did the same. I took my parents. And yeah, they absolutely loved it. Yeah.
It was insane. Just everything about it was just like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like, the music is so theatrical, though. I mean, for a lot of people, obviously, you know, it's written for that, whereas this was very different.
Yeah.
But oh my god, yeah, the music is incredible. Things like that, John Bon Jovi, anything like that. My mother literally, I could tell every word backwards.
I live for them. I feel like I should have been born like just like a good few years back.
Yeah, everyone says that to me. Everyone's like, you were totally born in the wrong
era. Yeah, definitely. Me too. I'm like, I have no clue what's in the charts right now. Like, not a Scooby.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the children that I teach, I wouldn't either. I am terrible.
Yeah.
They'll say, I really want to sing this song. Do you know this song? And I'm like, no, but I will research it. I will know the song.
Yeah, you're like, I'll get there. You're like, do you like that?
But either that, or it's a typical 90s throwback that, you know, it's terrible music, but it's the best thing you've ever heard in the same.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so weird, isn't it? Like, I feel like we've started, because my parents, like, when I go see them, they put on YouTube like all their favourite songs, and you know, you're like, oh, for God's sake. But we've been doing the same with our 90s songs, and we're like, oh my god, this was such a good one. This reminds me of when I was in school, and I'm like, what?
I'm doing exactly the same thing. Don't.
It's so weird.
It's awful. I literally go out once a week to go food shopping, and I'm on there, and I'm like, what music shall I play? And then I'm like, is it Backstreet Boys or is it Steps? Oh, Steps. I've seen it 3 times in concert, Laura. It's terrible. It's
oh my god, that is not embarrassing. So they came to watch Waitress, and minus Claire, which I was good about. She was always my favourite.
Yes,
and honestly, I sobbed afterwards, because it was like I was so awkward around them. I was so awkward. They're like my dream come true, and I just couldn't believe I was meeting them. I was like, oh my god, like, yeah, couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Got a favourite venue that you've ever performed at?
Favourite venue? You know, I always loved the Palace, actually. Yeah, I've got a strong love for there. Just everyone that works there has always been so nice. And I was there for, I think, 2 years, like solidly. I was there working, and yeah, it's just such a nice place to work, and it's such a lovely theatre. And it's so funny, when I first worked there, I was terrified because the people are sat like so close, so you can see everything, and I thought that would terrify me. Whereas actually now, like when we got to the Adelphi, it's massive, and I found it partly because I was wearing glasses, and I found it so hard to see in those actually because the light reflects off it. So I felt kind of blind. I couldn't see the audience at all. It was just darkness.
Yeah.
And I almost missed, not that I would ever look at anybody, but you know when it sounds so lame.
Interaction. Yeah.
And you can tell that when they're with you and when they're not. So I would kind of know more of what I was doing, and you can hear their reactions because they're just so close, and you can, I don't know, you can just gauge how they're feeling. And I think I almost missed that. And it's as if they follow you on their story because they just can see you a lot closer. Whereas I would find like people like way up there, I'm like, you can't fully see what I'm doing, and I can't see you. I don't know if you're enjoying it or, you know. Yeah, so I'd say maybe the other palace. Yeah.
And I've got some like quirky ones now. I love a random question.
I'll go for it.
So the first one is it favourite summertime refreshment? What would you say? What would you reach for?
Just a classic lemonade or like an iced tea. Yeah, you know, just like and then a Pimm's.
Because why not?
Because why not? I do love a Calippo as well, but I find I don't know if you get this, but whenever I have a Calippo, it makes the top of my lips swell. So I'm like this. Yeah. But I love them, and I will always have them, and I will never stop till the day I die having Calippos. But they always give me a swell.
I get the colour, the dye always comes on the bottom of my. I obviously eat really weirdly because every people are like, what is all over your face? I go back to 5.
Yeah, but I swear I eat it the same. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
It wrong. Like,
yeah, maybe we'll reassess this year. Maybe we'll work it out.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
If you could travel back to any time period, what time period would you like to not necessarily live in but see?
Oh God. It's so funny because all those time periods that seem so romantic
just aren't.
You know what I mean? You're like, oh, maybe the 1920s, but you imagine it was actually like awful. And like, love the idea of the 70s and the 60s, but also not a great time either.
No.
I don't know. Oh, maybe 1920s. I feel like everyone was like partying and
and also live it, just see it for a little while and then you can escape.
Oh yeah. That's really difficult. Maybe 70s. I feel like I'd be a hippie.
Yeah
I feel like I love a good flare.
I was about to say, I've currently got flared sleeves and so I'm there.
You're ready. You're living there already, so yeah.
Is there somewhere you'd love to visit? Is there somewhere maybe on a tour, a theatre you'd like to, or just on a holiday? If somebody said to you, where would you go?
So if it was with theatre, I've never been to Dublin, and I really was so looking forward to going to the Bord Gosh Theatre. I was really looking forward to doing that. So I would go there. And travelling wise, I don't know. Where would I go? Maybe Canada.
Oh, I've always really wanted to go to Canada. That is top. Yeah.
Go. A friend of mine lives in Vancouver, and he just loves it. And he just sends me pictures all the time. It just looks stunning. So I feel like, maybe Canada. Yeah.
Good shout. And my last question, I guess maybe we can't really answer it, but do you know what's next for you?
No, I don't know what's next. Which I guess for the first time in a good few years, I think about 3 years, I don't know what's next.
Yeah.
And I've known what I'm doing quite quickly. So I guess this is like taking me back to when I first started. And I'm like, okay, so who knows? But it's exciting because I don't know what's coming up really. Nobody does. And, you know, we'll see. Like, hopefully I'm working over Christmas. But if I'm not, that's fine. You know, teaching will be wonderful. And I'm hoping to kind of expand on that. And, you know, I used to work for Hattie Blue on reception. So I'll do that, you know, and just who knows, if I don't work this year, that's fine. I feel like I've set myself that, because normally I get quite nervous. I'm like, I need to be like, I want to be able to do something. Whereas I'm like, okay, this is fine. I'm forced out of work. I'm like, I should, you know, just enjoy this time. And if something comes up, it does. And if it doesn't, fine, you know, just embrace each day at the moment. For sure. And I think it's been quite crazy for me. Just it kind of it gets non-stop busy, and even at this time I've been like really busy, and sometimes I take on too much, and maybe it might be a good thing for me to just be like, okay, you've got a forced break, just chill. And you're not the only person in this position, everybody is. So just, not worry about what comes next. But yeah, hopefully it's something exciting.
Yeah, it's a break. I've said this to a lot of people. It's a break that you wouldn't give yourself, you know.
Yeah.
You know what it's like. If a job comes your way, you've got to take it. You know, I work, 6-7 days a week some days. Some weeks it's, you know, it can be madness. It's the next thing you have to, you know, that's just what it's like. So sometimes you don't get to breathe, and it is quite nice to have that time.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not anything that is my fault. It's, you know, it's not for a bad reason. It's, well, not a personal bad reason, but it's not you know, it's not like the show failed. It's not anything like that. We're all in this together. And like you say, just try and make the most of this time. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I've loved it. It's been fab.
Oh, me too. It's been lovely. It's been really nice. Yeah. Happy. This has been so lovely. And like you say, you wanted to make people smile, and I hope it does, you know.
Me too. I do too. Thank you so much for taking the time, and I'll be in touch. I'll send you the link.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. You have a gorgeous, gorgeous evening. All right, darling.
Take care.
You will stay in touch. All right.
Definitely. That would be fab. Bye. Take care. Bye.
As always, I'd love to thank my guests. Without them, none of this would be possible. So a huge thank you to Laura for giving up her time. I honestly did have an absolute brilliant time interviewing her. I really hope to keep in touch. She was a really lovely person. So I've still got a few more people coming up. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Stay tuned, because on Wednesday I've got another brilliant guests. They just keep coming. Take care. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.